Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, nice to be here.
I don't have time to mess around anymore. You know, we're going. I hit record. We're right in. I'm in the flow. We're just doing it.
All right, people. Humor is redefined as seriousness, and seriousness is upside down.
So how you doing?
Well, I gotta say things are looking up. I'm on the rebound from a rock bottom that I wouldn't wish on my worst neighbor.
Do you want to share any of that?
It got to the point where my joie de vivre had become a nothing. So couldn't put my finger on it, but things like exercising and finding time and not feeling completely exhausted all the time.
I'm finding plain and simple, it comes down to doing what you love. If I don't work on this show every day, that at least every other day I'm doing some work toward it, whether it's editing, whether it's meeting with you, coordinating a next interview. I'm so into this. I'm having so much fun doing it. Oh, I got something new now. I got a ball chair.
Is it really a chair or is it a ball?
It's a ball and a chair.
Yeah. That's great. Great for your core.
Let me share with viewer. Hey, viewer, by the way, welcome to our show.
Yeah.
We're going to have a ball.
Do.
So we're going to have an interesting episode today for sure. We're going to have an interesting episode tonight for sure. We're going to have an interesting episode, whether it's on day or night, whenever people watch it, or animals.
We've got one pause there that'll have to be edited out, but I think otherwise you are on a roll. This is going great.
I'm sure you're wrong, but that's okay.
No, the fact that you included the animals who might be watching, that was taking it to the next level.
I'm thinking about everybody. So I have a story I want to share with you, Andrew, and with you, viewer. I think everybody will enjoy this. It doesn't matter when you watch the show or see. Now I'm trying to do like a take two of it. I wanted to include plants. You know, if my oatmeal watches the show, it's gonna like the show. Do you like it? Oh, shut up, oatmeal.
Thank you, Joel.
Why?
That was the oatmeal saying thank you on its way down.
So I want to tell you what happened to me. This is a perfect example of why I wanted Abushady on the show. And he's going to be on a little bit later. Abushady, he's this guy, and he's much younger than me, but I really have a lot of respect for him because he's on sort of this spiritual journey. Definitely has some qualities that I think put him in, the potential to be a shaman or a bodhisattva or whatever it is. He's on the path to enlightenment in a way that a lot of people never even come close. He's earnestly trying to help the world and get the world back to the garden, as they say, trying to get us back to a spiritual awakening and away from the disaster TV and all of that stuff. So he posts a lot of things on social media. One of the things he posted recently was about how we are these beautiful beings and the sunshine is our energy source, that we should be out in sunlight, receiving the energy of the sun whenever possible. And one of the things that our society has limited us with is clothing. I've actually felt this for a while, in particular with shoes and socks, that our feet never touch the earth, or so rarely. Even if you go outside barefoot or step outside of your house barefoot, often you're on a sidewalk or, you're on a manicured lawn at best, We're never truly physically connected to the earth. But he's talking specifically about sunlight. And he's, and his thing is your body needs to be receiving sunlight physically. You need that energy coming into you. And because we're so clothed all the time, parts of our body never see the sun. There are probably parts of your body, and I'm assuming things, maybe you have a wild side I don't know about, but I'm assuming that there are parts of your body that have literally never been in the sun.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, I will tell you that is absolutely true for me. Or rather, it was. Because a week prior to that, I had gone to the beach with my family. And we went to a beach I'd never been to before. It was beautiful. It was a little further out east on Long Island than I normally go to. Typically, we go to beaches that are further west, closer to New York City. So we went out to this beach. I'd never been there before. Gorgeous. It's relatively close to the beginning of Fire Island. There's a lighthouse there. We take a walk to the Fire Island lighthouse. And as we're walking, I noticed that there's some people who are nude sunbathing. Not just men and women. They're way down, way far away from the families. They're not being creepy. It's clear to me that this is an area of the beach that is designated nude sunbathers. I've told you already, I don't live anywhere near this beach. Anyway, so then the following week, Abushady posts that comment on Instagram that your body needs to receive the energy from the sun and that you should be out in the world naked. You know, just messing around. I just, comment on it. I got a party with you, dude. Maybe I've gone skinny dipping like in the middle of the night. I have done that, but I've never been out in the sunlight unclothed. My family is again going to the beach the following week. And I decide, you know what? I've never done it. I'm going to leave them for a while because I'm not, I got kids. I'm not going to bring the, hey, everybody, let's go get naked. It's not that kind of family. We go, we do our swimming. We're having fun. We have some snacks, all that stuff. And mentally, I'm preparing myself. I'm not talking about it, but I'm preparing myself. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go have this life experience. And I'm looking at the water, and then I look to my left, and Abushady is sitting on the beach right next to me. And I look at him. I'm like, of course you're here. He doesn't live anywhere near this beach either. I tell him what I'm planning to do, that it's all because of him, and that I was planning to tell him about it when he came on the show. But now I don't have to. And I just look at him, I'm like, of course you're here.
That is amazing.
We have this nice conversation. Because like I told you, he's been in India.
Mm-hmm.
He has no business being 5 feet away from me on the beach. But there he is. I introduce him to my kids who are all flying kites. At some point, when I psych myself up enough, I'm going to walk away and go briefly nude sunbathe in the area where it's appropriate. But now, even if I'd had second thoughts, and I did, I was getting, I was squeamish. But now it's like, of course I have to do, like, he's right here. I have to do this. It was magical. I went back to my family a little while. We flew kites a little bit, and then I went back to him. I said, I'm going to do it now. If you're not here when I get back, we'll talk about it on the show or whatever. And we had, nice goodbye, all good. And then I walked on and walked on and walked on till it was very, very far away. Laid down a blanket and just lay down. I, had, just shorts and a t-shirt on. I was done swimming at that point, so I'd gotten out of the bathing suit stuff and found my way to doing it. And I did it. And I will tell you, it is really not that exciting. However, it wasn't disappointing. I feel great that I had the experience. Anyway, then I went back and a little pop-up came up on my feed and Instagram telling me that he had replied to my comment, that I said, I want to party with you. And his reply was, you manifested it. But so that was my story. And at the time, it was just so unbelievably exciting that of course the guy was right there.
That is really neat. You were just at a beach, and of course he's there because the universe makes sense sometimes, and it's amazing.
Right. The odds of him being at the same beach complex, at the same field, it's big. And, we'd been there for hours. He wasn't there at first. And then I just look over, and there he is. He doesn't live anywhere near there, and neither do I.
Awesome story.
Cool stuff, right?
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Abushady is a musician. He's also been on this very interesting spiritual journey. He currently is teaching breath work and Reiki healing both online and in person. Here is a good friend and a very cool guy, Abushady. How you doing?
I'm excellent, brother. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's funny, you just start talking to somebody like you and right away the energy shifts. All of a sudden, there's just a peaceful vibe surrounding me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Anyone you go around, the energy shifts. We feed off each other's energy, every person that we meet. Is this person increasing my energy or is this person draining my energy? And you kind of want to surround yourself with the people that are increasing your energy and giving you some positivity. When we're a little kid, we're pure. Our heart is light as a feather, we're already in this state of bliss where we're just like, I want to do that, and you go do that, and I want to do this. And you're free. You're not weighed down by all these things in life. And then as you get older, you kind of start losing touch with that inner child. And so I think the first time I started to get back in touch with my inner child was when I was 16. I started writing music then, and that was the first time I smoked some cannabis and just was in my room alone and just started writing, and it just started flowing out of me it was so natural. And I remember thinking this is what I'm meant to do, 2018, I put out a song every week of the year, and I was just, really prolific, just creating, writing, releasing, promoting, and learning and practicing the yoga. The next thing that interested me, I wanted to learn Ayurveda, which is India's ancient system of medicine and healing. This is like 6,000 years old. The old sages that created this system, they were very in tune with the body and very like high meditative state, and they figured out every single herb and plant in the forest and what it did and how it could help, and they pretty much had like a treatment for every disease you could think of. That really interested me. I wanted to go deeper into that.
So you went to Rishikesh, India, and you were only planning to be there a few weeks, but you stayed for much longer. And was that your own choice?
Where I was in Rishikesh, it's considered the yoga capital of the world, the original residing place of the yogis, like 6,000 years ago. So it has this very powerful spiritual energy there. I went there in November, so it was in December I decided to stay. So it was before any of this craziness happened. I said I wanted to learn Ayurveda. So every day I was going to the Ganga, the river Ganges, which is like the holy river going through there. Every day I would go down to the beach and I would do my own practice there, my breath work and meditation and yoga. And so one day I'm just sitting there, these two Indian guys are coming down towards the beach, and one of them has this very like charismatic energy, and he's just like, "Hello brother, how are you? Help me get into the water, brother, it's too cold." I'm like, okay. All the guys, they just strip down to their underwear, like no one wears bathing suits there, you just swim in your underwear. And we walk in the water, like the three of us holding hands. He's just like super cheerful in the water, he's like kind of splashing water up, and he's like, thank you, and like praying, and he starts asking me where I'm from, and I'm like, I'm from New York, and he was like, oh, I spent many years working in New York. And so I asked him, I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor. I realized I've been seeing these huge billboards with his face on them all over Rishikesh. So he's like, can you take photos and do social media work? I go by the next day. Felt like this was like a kind of universe granted me this opportunity. It was very synchronistic. He asks me, what are you passionate about? And the answer is music. I'm actually a musician. That's my main passion. I sing and I play guitar and produce. He goes to his closet and he pulls out an old guitar. And he's like, go down to the courtyard and play for an hour for the guest. So I take this raggedy old guitar, like the strings are breaking, it's like super rusty, out of tune. Started playing and he liked it, and we end up getting into this routine where I'm going there playing music in exchange for a meal. And so eventually he gave me a room, and then eventually he started giving me the opportunity to teach yoga. That was really, amazing opportunity to be able to say I was teaching in an ashram in India. And then I also got to take classes there, learning about Ayurveda one-on-one with the doctor. I got certified in Ayurveda as a practitioner. I left the ashram. I enrolled in a Kundalini Yoga course. Kundalini is this cosmic energy, and it lays dormant at the base of the spine. The universe is divided into consciousness and energy. Consciousness is like the masculine, call it Shiva. The energy is the feminine, or Shakti. So it's like the consciousness uses the energy to create, and that's what everything is manifested out of that. Kundalini Yoga is the techniques that the yogis created to awaken this dormant energy and have it under control. And I did this Kundalini Yoga course with this Swami. So he does something called Shaktipat. Shaktipat is where a master who's already awakened the Kundalini is like directly awakening it in his students. I would lay down flat on my back and close my eyes and just relax. And then he would sit in a meditative pose right beside me and place his thumb on my forehead, on my third eye. He would go into a deep meditation and essentially just send energy through his thumb into my third eye, down my spine to awaken the Kundalini. He would, it'd be like 20 minutes of him just sitting like this. His thumb would get super hot on my forehead, and it would feel like sparks of electricity, sparking off and going into my body. And I would get these random jolts, random parts of my body would start shaking. It was like my whole body started vibrating and shaking uncontrollably, and I'm just feeling these waves of energy going up and down the body, and my eyes are closed and I'm just seeing all these, kaleidoscopic visions. You just feel like alive. It's like the most alive you've ever felt. That night when I was sleeping, it happened again. Wake up and I'm just shaking, and it was like 2 minutes of this. Where did that come from, And yeah, really nothing has been the same since then. when I'm doing certain breathwork practices, I can literally activate that again on my own.
One of the things you brought up earlier is sort of how you found your way into this world, and it involved drugs a little bit. You're talking about smoking cannabis. I know for myself, all of this stuff that seemed to have been a real awakening really didn't take very long to be a complete hindrance. What I've found now, I do feel very in tune with the energy of the universe. I feel that I'm doing more things that are in line with my passions and my purpose than ever before in my life right now. And I find that I am high all the time. That energy that you get now from a chakra opening, or the moment you were describing with the teacher pressing your third eye. Once you find that stuff, are the drugs still necessary? Is it actually ever necessary? Do you find that you are on this spiritual path, that you're letting go of anything that would be detrimental to you? We have a lot of people trying to escape right now their reality, whether it's the issues of the pandemic or the issues of the economy falling apart. People are suffering, and they're trying to find outlets. And some people are finding highly creative, beautiful outlets, whereas other people are finding really self-destructive outlets.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything because I want to go deeper. I want to have dreams. I want to astral project. I want to just be in a natural high. I figured out what that void is in myself that I've been trying to fill, and I've worked through those emotions now. I have other practices I'm doing in my day that just keep me high. Like you said, I'm just on a natural high. The breath work and the Reiki and the yoga are like the three main things. It lasts throughout the whole day. It's put me in a place that feels a lot more prolific now. I'm writing, I'm working on different ebooks and courses and teaching people, and really making sure that I do my own practice every day so that I have the energy to do all these things. And the way I see it now, everything is like a drug. Food is a drug. If you think about it, food is the most addictive drug that we have, because how many hours can you go before you need food again?
It's when you can't really just quit.
Yeah, you get withdrawal symptoms from not having food. We're programmed in a way to eat all this food thinking that we need it. Think about how much comes out. Most of it comes out. How much of that did you actually need? You just needed the little nutrients inside of it. Really, we should just be eating nutrients and that's all we need.
As a society, we're so focused on food, and obviously food also creates an economy. There are jobs, there's money, there's commerce that way.
I'm not telling people to stop eating food, but just, be aware, when you're eating food, are you eating it to fill some sort of void in you? Are you eating it to deal with an emotion that you don't want to deal with, to suppress something? Most transformative thing for me in this past year is definitely the breath work. There's so many different breathing exercises and so many people teaching it these days. I'm currently offering sessions, but if you don't want to do it with me, there's YouTube videos for free. You can just search breathing exercises, do something in your day-to-day, even if it's just 15 minutes in the morning. Get yourself in that relaxed state before you go out and start doing things, before you look at your phone and start dealing with the world. And then just being conscious of your breath throughout the day. Catch yourself. The average person breathes 18 times per minute. I'm getting into practices where I'm breathing 1 time per minute. I'm going 20 minutes, just 1 breath per minute. 20 breaths, 20 minutes. And what this does is it literally brings you into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and repair. So it's consciously sleeping. It's after you work out or something, you bring yourself into parasympathetic, your body is already rebuilding the muscle. You don't have to wait till you go to sleep. Be conscious of your breathing patterns. Breathe through your nose. Try not to breathe through your mouth at all unless you're, talking or singing. When you breathe through your nose is filtering everything that's coming in through the air, and it's producing nitric oxide, which is antifungal, anti-parasitic, antiviral, antibacterial. It really cleanses your whole system, cleanses your nasal canal.
So the heart of it all is remember to breathe. Sounds silly.
Here, I'll show this on the camera. When people breathe, a lot of people breathe for some reason. When they breathe in, they suck their stomach in, which makes no sense, because if you're inflating a balloon, it would expand, right?
Sure.
I remember when I was 12 years old and I was playing the flute, and I was having trouble catching my breath for a phrase, and my dad was you're breathing backwards. And I remember how pissed I was. I was I've been breathing wrong my whole life? Why did no one tell me how to breathe before? And it seems, like you said, it seems so silly. But when you breathe in, your whole stomach, your chest, you should fill your entire lungs. Most of the blood in your lungs is in your lower lungs. And this is what activates the parasympathetic. And then when you exhale, you should suck your stomach in as far as possible. Think about it like this. You receive what you give. So if you give your full exhale, you squeeze every last bit of air out, then you get to take a full inhale. And if you start, living your life in that way, you give all that you can give, then you'll receive so much more.
What was it like for you when you returned to America? Did it seem like people, that the people you were dealing with were suddenly like you had just returned to a completely different world?
Yeah, I mean, the energy here is very different, and I was also getting used to speaking a lot of things in Hindi too, and then just coming here and realizing I can't just walk down the street and say namaste to everyone that I walk by, and they have a lot of beautiful sayings and phrasings, and I really like their language. Simple things that I was saying every day, like not getting used to not saying that anymore.
That's what we've come to in our house is that's how we say goodbye now, because you can't hug people, you can't shake hands, you're not even supposed to like fist bump or anything, but just a namaste. It seems like it was what we probably should have been doing all along.
The whole time, right?
I know when I started finding enlightenment, when I started discovering these things, that what I'm looking for in the world is looking for me, or things about energy, and realizing that there are people out there who want to suck your energy away and people who want to give you energy. As I became more and more enlightened, I wanted so much to be a leader or a speaker or a guide to others. The more I tried to show people the way, the more they wanted nothing to do with it. They pushed it away or changed the subject or didn't want to hear it. You know the term to be a bodhisattva, which just for viewers, it's basically the idea someone who's a bodhisattva is somebody who believes that their life's purpose is to help others in this world. But the world doesn't necessarily want to listen. So it's a little bit of learning how to say it in a way that people will actually receive it well. You have one issue is just sheer age. People tend not to listen to younger people, especially if they're older than you. But the other is that there's this idea of like, how dare you think you are so enlightened and so wise and can teach anybody anything when you're just this young punk kid, And I'm not trying to diss you or anything, but I'm saying that there is this part of the world that's going to look at you and laugh, or look at you and say, what does he know? There's nothing he can provide to me. How do you know yourself you are what you think you are?
A belief is a lie. It has the word lie in it. So I try to stay away from believing things. I also try and stay away from thinking things. Knowing comes from within and from living what you're preaching, from your words being in alignment with your actions. I'm either like a spiritual guide towards people and people really look up and hold on to what I say, or I'm just heresy. I'm just blasphemy in my words. I've accepted that. I'm totally cool with just what comes to me. I've had a lot of practice over the years. Obviously I'm young, but I feel like my soul has been through a lot. I feel like my soul has come here many times. It's my karma, it's my past actions that put me in the position that I am, to be who I am and to say what I have to say. So in this lifetime, I've had a lot of experience with just channeling, whether it's my songs or anything that I'm writing or singing in the moment or just speaking, just allowing information to flow through me. I just have like a very strong trust in that, using everything that I can possibly use to sharpen my intuition and my discernment to get me to a place where I know that I can trust that intuition. Your intuition comes from your gut, right? Gut feeling. Most people today are so toxic and filled with so many parasites and things in their body that they can't even trust their gut. How can you trust your brain when you're not even the one controlling it? Most of your desires and cravings are coming from literal parasites, microscopic parasites in your body that are trying to reproduce and thrive and live in your body and ultimately decompose you into the grave. Unless you're actively detoxing mechanically, emotionally, and spiritually all the parasitic things in your life out of you, then where are you plugged into? What is your source? And I've checked that source and I keep checking it and I'm plugged in. I'm plugged into what is. And every experience I have, I think, brings me a little bit closer to that truth. I just have a divine trust and I don't really care what people think about me. I'm just here to speak my truth. And I also know that My reality is what I choose to believe, and that's just been proven to me time and time again. I can just so easily flip my perspective, and I can be in a state of sadness, and I can be like, oh wait, this is actually this way, this is really good. And then I'm immediately in a state of happiness, and it's like, how easy can I switch things just because of what I've chosen to focus on? You know, I'm in control of my reality. I'm creating this. I think I'm one of the infinite expressions of God living itself. So when I look at everything that is around me, I'm like, that's also God. That's just a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of you. People are gonna judge you whether you're being who you are or who you aren't. You're gonna be the juiciest, sweetest, most delicious apple, and someone's still gonna come on by and say, I don't like apples. So what's the point of changing yourself then? Just be what you are. We're here to be what we are. The fact that you exist proves that you matter. Because you wouldn't exist if you didn't matter. Realizing this is like a dream, the more lucid you come in the dream, the more control you have over it. And the more you can start to bend the rules, like the Matrix. You know, and you can start to shape things more in the direction that you want. The secret to cosmic currency, getting money or anything that you want without having to work for it in the sense of what we consider work to be, it's the really simple equation of just focusing your attention on your desires. And it's just like our focus has been taken away from us, as well as our attention. Our attention is the biggest currency in the world. Everyone's trying to get your attention. When they have your attention, you've lost your focus. So I guess the first is figuring out what you want and why you want it, and having a really strong what and a really strong why. Then you can focus your attention on that thing and you can make it happen. And it's not work in that sense. Even if it means that I'm staying up late, that's not work to me because I love it.
You know when you're doing the right thing, where you are impassioned and just running with it and just going and going. And suddenly you realize you've missed 2 or 3 meals because you were just going. You know when you're in the zone or in flow or on your path, whatever you call it, you know when you're doing what you should be doing. It does seem very clear you are doing what you should be doing, spreading an awful lot of positive energy and a lot of light into the world. Thank you so much, Abushady, for joining me today. And hopefully people won't mind that we tried to focus their attention on us for a little while. And hopefully it'll give them some energy or some guidance towards something that's meaningful for them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the platform and your time. This has been a good, productive use of time.
I'm glad you feel that way. And I suppose we should say namaste.
Namaste.
I remember this one time I met the Moses, and he gave me part of the Red Sea. I didn't know what to do with it.
So I interviewed Abushady a few days ago, and since then I have already lost 10 pounds.
What?
The guy changed my life. I have gone, I don't want to say 100% vegetarian, but every time I've gone to eat something that wasn't like a living source food, like fruit, vegetable, like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
my body has just been like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want that in me.
Wow.
You know, I'm talking about like maybe 6 days.
That is so cool.
I am literally 10 pounds lighter than I was 6 days ago.
That's an inspiring guest. I think this is a promo for the show.
Well, it's certainly a promo for him because I think he's doing a little bit of like a Richard Simmons thing, but with the metaphysical, spiritual.
Yeah, good.
He's like the metaphysical Richard Simmons. He's so not like Richard Simmons.
Well, there's something metaphysical going on with Richard Simmons, though, you know, because he is positive.
Is he still alive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's that vibration that we all feel. That's him.
The Simmons vibration.
I feel it! I feel it! Oh, oh!
I like Richard Simmons. He's a little bit strange, but he's somebody who has no uncertainty about his purpose and his way, and he loves himself clearly. He's very happy and very comfortable in his own skin.
And he loves other people, too.
Yeah. So yesterday I was getting dressed in the morning and I decided, all right, I'm going to put on my blue shirt. Actually, think about it, it wasn't even yesterday. I've been wearing the same shirt. I changed my shirt just now because it was a little filthy. I put on a different blue shirt. But before that, I'd been wearing the same blue shirt for like 3 days. And I realize something's happening to me because I'm so into this show. I'm starting to become Jon Goldstein. I'm really starting to embrace the character. And it's very much method acting. Like I put on this shirt and I feel like I am, like I'm truly Jon Goldstein. I mean, I know I'm Jon Goldstein, but I'm not just Jon Goldstein day to day, getting kids to school, going to work, doing my thing, but I'm Jon Goldstein in
The show guy.
So I don't know if you're having that experience as well. Like, do you wear your gray shirt all the time? Or
Oh no, I'm down a pole and the shirt comes onto my body as I slide down the pole.
Nice. It dresses you like the Batman. You've got the whole...
What's that? No, it's like an Andrew pole.
So you've got like a whole Rube Goldberg type of setup going.
Yeah.
You haven't heard of Batman, but you've heard of Rube Goldberg? Great. I see what kind of fella you are.
Yeah, and this coffee pops up out of the table when I get here.
There you go, and you're ready. So if you watch the show, I mean, I know you're not an unaware guy. You probably noticed something.
I noticed there was some talk of a practical joke coming down in my head. I did notice that, yeah. Noticed it a couple times. I'm starting to stay up at night.
Are you excited for it?
Uh-huh. I hope it's a scavenger hunt.
Oh, so we did talk about the scavenger hunt in the last episode. How are people going to get you scavenger hunt material for Andrew's Scavaganza?
I think you have to put a clue in the comments on the YouTube thing, a clue that only I will understand.
I thought scavenger hunts were that you just put things.
No.
So how does this is all you. Going to make this your show. Tell me what, or rather tell viewer how Andrew's Scavaganza works. So Andrew, take it away.
Okay, so your initial clue has to be something that only I will understand, because all the other viewers are going to see the clue, and we can't have them crowding the field while I'm out hunting. Your clue has to be something along the lines of, go to the place where you first had diarrhea.
Firstly, who do you think, who's going to answer this question? Like, who would know that? Your mom? I mean, seriously, like, who would know that? If you want others to play, you have to make it possible for them to play.
Yeah, okay. Go to the place where you saw your first Phillies game. How about that? That would be too easy, obviously.
Maybe you saw an away game, like a viewer would have to know you, and you're basically tipping the scale to only that your friends can win. I guess I should back off a little. It is your show, but don't you want to make it fair for viewer?
I guess maybe I need to accept that there may be competition from the other viewers. Like the clue gets out there and it's up to me to beat the other viewers to the next clue. Because the first clue tells where to find the second clue and so forth. That's what we're searching for. And then at the very end, after all the clues, there's some kind of meaning.
Are you the searcher searching and I don't understand this. Like our show it's easy to understand. You just watch and go along with it. Like you're giving a lot of tasks in your show to your viewers. Maybe think about it a little bit.
People are so creative. Do you know, there was a guy who put out that he had buried some jewelry and gold and a treasure in the mountains of New Mexico or something, and people dedicated their lives to finding it, and somebody found it recently. It was in the news. People are very resourceful, and if you care about this show like I think you do, your resources are gonna obsess you.
So can you just give a breakdown, like what is the show? Andrew's Scavaganza is, do you have an elevator pitch?
Okay, I'm walking all over the neighborhood, looking under bits of trash and things that are lying around behind swing sets or whatever I see for clues. And when I find one, a little theme song happens or something. That's the show.
Now, who's hiding these clues?
The viewer.
So you need to ensure that there's a viewer in your neighborhood. Can we say where you live?
They have to figure that out.
We have given them a little bit of a clue that people will know what state you live in.
No, not even that, because the viewer can imply through their clue that finding the second clue would be worth traveling anywhere.
This sounds like the worst show. It sounds terrible. You're giving your viewer an awful lot of work to do.
The viewer is the hidden star, really, of the show. I'm just a medium, just a vehicle.
So I thought that the way the show was going to work is that viewers were going to put in the comments of our show some things that they wanted you to go find. Which struck me as much easier on your viewer. I mean, the fact is, The reason people are viewers is because they're too lazy to do all this work. I mean, no offense, viewer, but let's face it. Andrew and I, we get it done, guys. You know what I mean? You're a viewer.
I don't see you that way, viewer. I see you as a genius.
One of the things I think is important is that we not talk down to the viewers. You know?
Call them genius. What?
No, I'm not implying you were. But the reason they watch this show is that we're not messing around. We're not sugarcoating anything that we have to say. We want to keep it real. So viewer, you're really weaker than us. Look at us making a show. Look at us with our backdrops and our color coordinated outfits. We're guys who make it happen. We are, what would you call it? We're like the millennials of Gen X.
Yeah, well put. The chocolate chips of chocolate chip cookies.
As Eckhart Tolle would say, we are the flowers. We're the ones beginning to bloom in the field of green. We're the awakening flowers as the flower awakens. So last weekend, since you weren't around, we filmed Jon and Rob's Extraordinary Show.
No way. Just like that.
We have the first episode in the can.
Yep. I blinked and there it is.
So I have someone who agreed to play Rob.
Oh, that's right. It's with a substitute.
Yeah, so for Jon and Rob's Extraordinary Show, my friend Mason is going to be playing Rob. And Mason is 12. You know, we went back and forth on if Mason's going to play Rob, should I be me or should someone else be me? And as it's turned out, Leo agreed to play me in the show.
Okay. Leo's also 12 now.
Leo is 11.
So they're 11 and 12-year-olds playing middle-aged guys or playing you guys as 11 and 12-year-olds?
That's a good question, because we had to establish what is the premise of the show. Now that, I mean, clearly they're not adults. So are they exactly that question came up in development. The premise we've come up with is that they've been turned into children by the evil scientist, Dr. Andrew. So I need a little footage of you for the opening credits. Here's the thing, I was originally thinking about this is like, I just have you be like, "Mwah," do some evil laughter. I hadn't even considered what your motivation was. Why would you do this? It hadn't occurred to me. The answer was because you were evil. Then last night, Rob asked me the question of, is Dr. Andrew jealous that Jon has gone and created another show without him? And I realized, yes, thank you, Rob. Not only did Rob have the idea for the show, but now he's given the motivation to the show. You're okay with being the evil scientist, the evil Dr. Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to give it a shot? You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Just isolate my screen.
See your full screen. Go for it.
Jon and Rob's Extraordinary Show. Well, I mean, I think it's great. I'm really glad for them. However, what if something went wrong? I mean, what if they couldn't fulfill all their plans? I'd feel terrible. I'd be so sorry for them. Like, they were so helpless. What if they became little kids?
We were taught all our lives, seeking attention, folks who could not give it, taking turns, both wrong and right, giving affection to folks who just dismiss it. Got stopped by every red light while out searching